Sinners is a vampire movie set in the state of Mississippi in the American Deep South in the 1930s, well known as a time and place of peace and harmony amongst all people. Back when Robert Johnson, the famous blues guitarist, went to the crossroads and made a deal with the devil that would eventually, by copying his music, make a lot of English musicians in the 1960s very, very rich. So it wasn't the best deal for Robert. I don't think buying Eric Clapton's third mansion or paying for Mick Jagger's fourth divorce was a top priority for him, but that's what happens when you're a small business owner and you're negotiating with Lucifer, the unclean one, old goat legs, Ozzy Osbourne's accountant, Baphomet himself. Making a deal with Beelzebub is like letting Jerry Lee Lewis babysit your niece or Buddy Holly recommend an airline. It's just not advisable. Perhaps only Donald Trump could negotiate successfully with Lucifer by staging a massive rally and rambling boringly on endlessly for hours about all the things he did that were good and all the things that were done by the other people that were bad, until finally Lucifer would get down on his hind legs and beg him to stop and agree to his terms. The art of the deal indeed. The spirit of the blues permeates this film, evoking such artists as Robert Johnson, Dwayne Johnson, Howard Johnsons, Muddy Waters, Yellow Snow, Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee, Overcast Tony and Cheesecake McHucknall, and of course, Blind Drunk Scotsman. Apart from blues music, the film contains many other things I'm quite fond of, such as vampires, hillbillies, and a woman with very large breasts. In fact, you could lose the music, hillbillies, and vampires, and I'd still be quite happy with what's on show. They really are quite stunning, and just the right number also. 1 would be odd, and 3 would be even odder, but luckily they remain at just 2, the perfect amount for breasts, I think, and testicles too, now you mention it. Also, in fact, many, I'm being sidetracked. Let me get back onto it. The basic premise of the film is that 2 identical twins, both played in what I assume is a cost-cutting exercise by Michael B. Jordan, have returned to Mississippi from Chicago after stealing money from the outfit. The outfit was, and probably still is, the nickname for the Chicago Mafia. This ingenious name change from the Mafia to the outfit kept the Chicago police off their trail for decades. Well, that and the massive amounts of money they were receiving in bribes. The outfit, after 1920, was able to grow into a huge organization employing thousands of criminals when the American government, pressured by temperance societies, came up with a well-thought-out and ingenious idea of stopping adults from drinking any alcohol at any time whatsoever. In fact, organized crime families all over America still hold a special place in their hearts for the uptight, spoil-sport old battle axes that ran these societies, for without them, Sicilian psychopaths with low impulse control might never have been able to buy the golden toilets they so desired. Anyways, the twins have returned to their hometown to start an arts venue called, in local vernacular, a honky-tonk, which seems in some ways to be a bit of false advertising, as they were very rarely contained any Caucasians whatsoever. A honky-tonk is a place where a calendar of the most extraordinary contemporary music and dance performances would be curated with the occasional straight razor fight thrown in to liven things up. Most of the venue's revenue would be made from the honky-tonk gift shop, which would sell calendars, postcards, fridge magnets, aprons, colouring books, and 180 proof rot gut whiskey and opium. Some honky-tonks would also sell cannabis, or to use the modern parlance, reefer. If you're not familiar with this substance, the best way to find out if someone you know is doing reefer is if they spend all of their time eating cereal while watching cartoons. The twins assemble a varied and vibrant staff for the honky-tonk, including a young blues musician, an estranged wife, a bouncer, a pianist, a Chinese shopkeeper couple, their daughter, a singer and a dancer, an ex-girlfriend, and if my memory serves me correctly, Jimmy Hoffa, Shergar, and Lord Lucan. While this rainbow coalition are preparing for opening night of the honky-tonk, The film cuts to a nearby farmhouse where an Irish vampire gains entry to the home of a charming young couple whose hobbies we learn include embroidery, board games, and attending meetings put on by the local branch of the Ku Klux Klan. It's never really explained why they've enrolled in the KKK. Perhaps it's the fantastic barbecues, general networking, or just a desire to keep up with the wacky world of white supremacy. Either way, with that typical big-heartedness and openness Klan members are known for, they decide to invite the Hibernian creature of the undead into their humble home, and their hospitality is immediately rewarded by both of them being chewed on and turned into vampires. No good deed goes unpunished, as their grand wizard would probably say. The result is there are now 2 more blood-sucking vampires who also happen to be card-carrying members of the Ku Klux Klan. Not exactly the type of people who would top one's list of ideal dinner party guests. Well, perhaps if they brought along a decent bottle of wine, I don't know. Anyway, stick around and stay alert for part 2 of this review, coming very, very soon.